Hey guys, so in this video I want to talk about this HD camera that I have on top of my B-Rotor 130, and it's called the FX DV08, and this is what it looks like here. And you can see here I already have it mounted on top with a couple of these zip ties on top of the B-Rotor 130. Now I recorded an intro to this before when this was not attached, and somehow I lost that video. There's nothing really significant on the bottom of this camera. It's just black plastic, and you can clearly see everything in the camera here just from looking at it on top. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of, if you're new to my channel, I did make a previous video about decasing my Mobius camera, and here I'll bring it in a shot here. This is my Mobius camera that I decased, and I was using this to record a few HD videos. It did not last very long because I think Mobiuses do what Mobiuses do. They go and die, and so this stopped working for whatever reason. It was working fine, and it just stopped working. So anyway, I decided to get this one, and the reason I wanted to get it is because it has this ability to adjust your camera tilt within the camera without having to get a special mount for the quad that you're attaching it to. So this camera comes in two versions. It comes in a 90-degree version and a 140-degree version, and the field of view that I have is 140 degrees. It records on a micro SD card here on the side. So I have a 32 gigabyte micro SD card installed in here. And what's interesting about this is that it can be used as an FPV camera. It has this input-output jack in the back here, and this is a 7-pin 1mm pitch JST connector. And I actually had an extra one of these, and I just use this for power because this camera does not have an internal battery. When I bought it, I thought it did, but apparently it just runs off of external power, which is the way I had the Mobius set up here without any battery. So it wasn't that big of a deal for me. It does come with this connector. It's a 7-pin 1mm pitch JST connector, and basically there's three outputs here on the right. So there's the yellow cable for video, and then ground, and then 5 volts power on the right. Now these other cables here, these four on the left, have these individual servo connectors on the end, and that's for controlling the camera functions via PWM signal. I didn't see any instructions in the instruction manual on how to configure or trigger that, and here's a quick look at the instructions. They're very simple instructions here. There's the specifications there. And basically there's a button here in the back here. It's called the record button. So when you turn on your quad, you use this button to start your recording. When the power comes on, it'll light up as either 1080p or 720p, and I have it currently set to 1080p. And you just press the button once and it'll start blinking and it starts recording. It does have a mic, so it does record the onboard audio. If you want to switch the mode from 1080p to 720p, which will increase the frame rate from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, you press and hold the power button here, or the record button, for 3 seconds, and then it'll switch to light over, and then vice versa if you want to go back. When you do your recordings, while it's recording, it'll be blinking. When you land, if you unplug your quad while it's still recording, the recording gets corrupted because it can't, I guess, complete the file at the end, so you lose your video. So you should always make sure that at the end, press the record button again to stop the recording, and then unplug your quad to save your recording. Now the video quality, of this is actually pretty good. It's very comparable to the first run cam, and I have an example here. It's very similar in terms of specs. It records also. This also records at 1080p at 7. I'm sorry. This also records at 1080p, 30 frames per second, and also 720p at 60 frames per second. So, it's actually eerily similar in terms of like color saturation and color reproduction. I'll put a video sample of this flying at the end, and you'll see that if you compare this to a lot of video footage from the first run cam, it looks really similar. Now there's a lot of jello in the video footage that I got, and I do have some foam here between the frame and the camera, but there's still a lot of vibration, and it's just because these props are probably unbalanced, and this a very small quad shakes a lot. So what I'll probably have to do is probably increase the vibration dampening there with the foam, or maybe give it some additional foam. So I'll probably remount this and then put some additional recordings in a future video on my channel. So if you guys have any questions about this product, let me know in the comment section below. And also, I'll put a link to this in the description as well if you want to check it out. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.